Iasu Malagedo. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. James Caan. I want to do this somewhere I feel safe. That's why I like doing my podcast at home. I'll know I'm protected. And I just want to thank my two fans out there for all the support. It means a lot to me. And if it means that I gotta go out there and do what I gotta do to make sure that my two fans are safe, that's just what I'll do. And I'll sit down at the dinner table and make sure that this is taken care of myself.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Nice college boy, huh? They want to get mixed up in the family business? Now you want to gun down a police captain? What, does he slap you in the face a little bit? Huh? What do you think, this is the army where you shoot him a mile away? You gotta get him close like this. Bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit. Come in. Mwah! You're taking this very personal. Tom, this is business, and this man is taking it very, very personal.
How can I not take this personal? Sorry. All right, that's better. Seriously, how can I not take this personal, Sonny? I mean, James Caan. You passed away. Paulie Walnuts, a.k.a. Tony Cicero, passed away. I did a podcast on him. You can check that out whenever you like. Ray Liotta passed away. We're losing all our awesome gangsters of cinema, okay? But seriously, James Caan was just awesome, okay? This, you talk about, the world of acting today. And, where's our cojones? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, there's not a lot of actors out there that, have a big pair of balls like Mr. James Caan did, okay? He brought, the whole machismo thing to every fucking role he did. I mean, the clip I just played, Godfather, I mean, you couldn't have picked any other guy to play that role. I mean, he was just perfect for it. He suited it, so well for it. I don't know if suited is a word. The point is, even just before he died, I heard that he had surgery on his back, and you saw him in the wheelchair there, and you're kind of wondering, is he okay, whatever. He still scared the shit out of me. He just did, he just had it, he had such a strong presence, and now his kid is acting as well, and I mean, he's been doing it for a while too, and I miss that in Hollywood. That's all. I think we all miss, a person who, has got a pair of balls as strong as James Caan. And, unfortunately, it's sad that he's passed away, at the age of 82. And, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to talk a little bit about James Caan and what made him so great. And, of course, I like to start off on Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, because it's free, and free, especially, these days, because in the next year, we're going to definitely have another recession. Yeah, it's going to happen. So, we're just trying to save a couple bucks wherever we can. So let's get started. James Edmund Caan, born March 26, 1940, and passed away July 6, 2022, was an American actor known for his film and television performances. He was nominated for several entertainment industry honors, including for an Academy Award, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, 4 Golden Globe Awards, and Motion Pictures star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1978. After early roles in Howard Hawks' El Dorado, Robert Altman's Countdown, and Francis Ford Coppola's The Rain People, he came to prominence playing Sonny Corleone in Coppola's The Godfather, a performance which earned him Academy Award and Golden Globe nominations. Best Supporting Actor, he reprised his role in The Godfather Part 2. Caan gained acclaim for his portrayal of Brian Piccolo in the 1971 television movie Brian's Song, for which he received a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series or Movie nomination. Caan received Golden Globe Award nominations for his performances in the drama The Gambler and the musical Funny Lady. He continued to receive significant roles in feature films such as Cinderella Liberty, Rollerball, A Bridge Too Far, Comes a Horseman, and Chapter 2. His work after 1980 was more sporadic, with performances including Thief, Gardens of Stone, Misery, Honeymoon in Vegas, Bottle Rocket, Mickey Blue Eyes, The Yards, City of Ghosts, Dogville, Elf, and Get Smart. He was in Get Smart, really? Fuck, I don't remember that. Missed it by that much. Thank you. The point is, he's done a ton of kick-ass movies. Now, obviously, we all know him for The Godfather and Godfather 2, but he's done so many great movies. And I had a chance the last couple of years to catch up on a lot of his movies. Obviously definitely made a name for himself even before The Godfather, but that's why they wanted him for Godfather, because, they felt that his strong presence was just perfect to play Sonny Corleone, a tough mafioso guy. And, it was perfect, absolutely perfect. And, he pretty much acted in roles until the day he died, pretty much. We'll get into that more in a little bit, but I found a couple facts about James Caan here on looper.com. Always like enjoying watching their clips on YouTube there, to tell a little history, blah, 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 whatever. It's all good. So I recommend those clips. But anyways, so if you guys don't mind, I'd like to read a couple facts on here. So let's begin. He was an athlete first. Growing up on the mean streets of Sunnyside, Queens in the 1950s, Caan made a name for himself. 2 names, in fact, with his physical prowess. He earned one nickname, Shoulders, due to his broad physique. He was quoted, "I had skinny little legs with this big square top." The second nickname, Killer Caan, which is an awesome name, reminds me of Killer Cam, Cameron, shout out to Dipset, came from his skills as a teenager boxer. We boxed in a ring, he said. Sometimes it wasn't in a ring. And there you go. I mean, you had to be a tough motherfucker back then, man. Especially Queens. Ooh, forget it. I'm a Canadian. Even I know that. It says here, at the age of 16, he moved halfway across the country to attend Michigan State University, where he studied economics and played football. Years later, Caan would downplay his contributions to the team, joking that his job was mostly holding bags and being the tackle dummy. But that experience of being a football player and an athlete in general would mark a number of his most famous roles, from real-life Chicago Bear Brian Piccolo in the 1971 docudrama Brian's Song, to the star player of the dystopian Bloodsport in Norman Jewison's Rollerball. Even when playing a bedridden romance novelist in Misery, Rob Reiner's 1990 Stephen King's adaptation, Caan's physicality plays an important part. As screenwriter William Goldman wrote in his 2000 memoir, that pent-up energy you saw on screen was very real. And it was one of the main reasons, at least for me, the movie worked. There you go. So what? He was a tackling dummy. Like, let me just say this. First of all, I mean, for him to be the tackling dummy, which really shows like how tough this team must have been. Like, if he wasn't the toughest guy, who the fuck was? But again, played more for his future roles. For him, being up that tough guy, building up that energy and suspense and all that. So everything works out, guys. Everything happens for a reason. Trust me. Even this decent podcast I do. The acting bug bit when he was in college. After just a year at Michigan State, James Caan returned to New York City and enrolled at Hofstra University on Long Island. As per Cigar, I'm going to fuck this up, aficionado. Oh, that's how you say, okay. Sometimes you say a word, once in a while, and then you never see the spelling of it, There you go. The early morning before his classes, he would pull a shift at the meatpacking plant. Caan was not afraid to study or to work hard. But it was clear early on that neither the life of an academic or a meat packer was for him. His next movie, Manhattan's The Neighborhood Playhouse, Caan studied and performed at the acting school for 5 years, working closely with famed acting teacher Sanford Mencier, whose technique revolved reaction rather than calculated performance. Many well-known actors have trained at the Neighborhood Playhouse over the years, including Caan's Godfather co-star Robert Duvall and Elf co-star Mary Steenburgen. There you go. Practice makes perfect, guys. Like I said, sometimes, the acting bug hits you late in life. Sometimes it hits you early. Whenever it hits, just go for it. You got a feeling that, you know what? I don't want to do this shit all my life, And again, I'm not knocking any of these people that live, life like, 9 to 5 in a, warehouse, whatever. Sometimes it just gets to a point where it's like, fuck it. I got to do something else. So it worked out great for Mr. Caan here. Caan's earliest on-screen roles were in television, where he notched appearances on anthology series like Route 66 and Naked City. A handful of small film roles followed, and Caan finally got his breakthrough in 1966's El Dorado, Howard Hawks and John Wayne's unofficial remake of their own Rio Bravo. 3 years later, luck would strike again when Caan's old Hofstra classmate Francis Ford Coppola cast him as a former football player in the road trip drama The Rain People, opposite Shirley Knight and Robert Duvall. Once again, this is not the first time that, or the last time, that Francis Ford Coppola will work with James Caan. Actually, no, I guess it was the first time. You know what I'm saying. The point is, thank God these two guys met. Real life wise guys. As Francis Ford Coppola, Robert Duvall, and James Caan were working on The Rain People, author Mario Puzo released his best-selling crime novel, The Godfather, a multi-generational look at America through the changing fortunes of a mafia leader and his children. The story of how his pulpy, gossipy, and occasionally offensive book was turned into one of the greatest films of all time has been written and told time and again, most recently in the Paramount Plus miniseries, The Offer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard about this show, recently Paramount, of course, because Paramount was the one that backed up Godfather. Listen, I could talk Godfather all day. You got to check out this show. It's greatly cast. You got Miles Teller there playing the Canadian producer, who I didn't even know this dude was Canadian. I mean, another win for us. But it just tells the whole story how they made The Godfather and all the shit that came with it. So definitely recommend it. Check it out whenever you got a chance. After this podcast, just listen to this first. Paramount Pictures hired Coppola to adapt and direct the film, feeling that having an Italian-American at the helm would ensure that the film was authentic and would protect them against charges of racism. Coppola had to fight the studio over everything, including the casting of Caan and newcomer Al Pacino as mob sons Sonny and Michael Corleone. Caan embraced his role as the hothead Sonny, turning to his friend, insult comic extraordinaire Don Rickles for inspiration. The Godfather has long been dogged with questions of how much of the story is based on true events. Listen, first of all, I just want to say as a side note, there is no mafia. Okay, I'm just talking up to you guys. You know, you guys got to let this go. Okay, it's all it's all folklore. It's just a story. You know, don't read too much into it. Okay, that's let's just what are you gonna do? Just let it go. But yeah, that is definitely interesting about how he adapted the whole attitude of Don Rickles to play the role. Go on YouTube, you can check out a few-minute clip of him, Don, roasting James Caan there. Rest in peace, Don Rickles. He's fucking awesome. On a side note, Don Rickles was almost picked for the role in Caddyshack, Ronnie Dangerfield's part. But again, everything worked out great there. So that's interesting too. But listen, you get inspiration from everything. I mean, I guess it was like the fast-talking, toughness kind of thing that he had going there. I mean, they had a good little rapport back and forth, Don was cool, but he knew like one phone call, it would have been over. But the point is, they liked him, and it was inspired based on his whole attitude there. So there you go. There is no mafia. How much the real life mafia was involved with the film's production? We may never be able to fully separate the truth from the legends. But we do know that at some point during the production of the film, Caan became good friends with Colombo crime family Lieutenant Andrew Russo. Per the New York Post, their relationship was so strong that when Russo was arrested in 2011, the rollerball actor submitted a letter to the court vouching for him. Listen, that's what you do, guys. I mean, if one of your friends goes to jail, of course it maybe, listen, who knows what happened? The point is, you want to help your friends get out of jail, and that's it. That's what you do, okay? What's the point of obtaining, wealth if you can't share it with your friends? Obtaining success and, share it amongst your friends. Like, Uncle June said in Sopranos. I'm just these are. But again, that's the Sopranos. There's no mafia. The point is, he did exactly what he had to do. He helped out his friend, and that's it. That's awesome. Forever Sonny. Playing Sonny Corleone in The Godfather earned James Caan a Golden Globe nomination and his sole Academy Award nod. He might have won if the Academy had not pitted him against co-stars Robert Duvall and Al Pacino in the Best Supporting Actor category. Keep in mind, none of these three guys won, which makes no sense. Instead, Joel Grey took home the award for Cabaret. What do we remember more? Almost like 50 years later, The Godfather, Cabaret, and again, I'm not. I think Cabaret is like a musical or something. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, was James Caan in that movie? Was Al Pacino in that movie? Was Robert Duvall in that movie? No, that's just okay. The film was an immediate critical and commercial smash. The highest grossing film of 1972, and introduced a whole new pop culture lexicon. In addition to famous lines like "Leave the gun," "Take the cannoli," I believe they said "Take the cannolis." Okay, listen, nobody goes to a nice Italian bakery and just buys one cannoli. Okay, you got to buy at least 5. Okay, you have one, on the way home, so your wife doesn't find out. You have another one with, guests. Maybe you just invite a few friends. I mean, there's only so many people that actually earn a cannoli. But anyways, the film and book gave new meaning to the word Godfather, a title that did not have sinister connotations before the novel. Caan made his own indelible contribution to the English language by accident when he improvised the onomatopoeia, which, wow, I can't believe I got that right the first try. Nice. Bada bing! To represent a bullet to the head. Without that, there would be no strip club in The Sopranos, which again is not based on any factual things, because once again, there is no mafia. A strip club, okay? But again, bada bing, bada boom. Many actors become associated with one particular role, and this was certainly true for Caan, especially in his later years. Many of his roles in the 1990s and 2000s, like Mickey Blue Eyes and The Way of the Gun, played on the audience's familiarity with Sonny Corleone. But the role also followed him around in a more unusual way. Caan, who was of Hungarian Jewish descent, that's right, he's not even Italian. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind that, okay? Because years later, okay, Steve Buscemi, who is one of my favorite actors, he played, I believe, an Irishman in Boardwalk Empire. So, years later, it was a fair trade. So that's cool. Was often mistaken for Italian, if not an actual wise guy. He said, "I won Italian of the Year in New York twice, and was once even denied a country club membership on grounds that he was a mafioso." Well, that's just racist, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's like the lawyer in Soprano says, "Your Honor, we take offense to the term mafioso." I mean, again, listen, I don't. There is no mafia. I'm telling everybody out there, it's all in your head, okay? It's just let it go. But yes, this was true. I mean, keep in mind, how else can I say it?
What do you say about Iron Ice Kobe? Said Ruffy had it all fucked up. It don't mean nothing anyway, because it's like knowing James Caan is an Italian. We think this guy Red Clay's fucking a graduate student. We hire a detective. I think it's over, sir. Yeah, but it's over.
I had to play that. That's from Sopranos. But like I said, nobody cared if he wasn't Italian. He was an honorary Italian. He always was and always will be. Okay? That's it. And that's that. The roles not taken. James Caan was a bona fide A-lister in the 1970s. But in the years following The Godfather, he took a more eclectic, I haven't heard that word since Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Eclectic? Jeez. Oops.
Yes, that was a clip from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, in a James Caan podcast. Okay? Listen, growing up, I learned two things. There is no mafia, and there are no fighting Ninja Turtles, that can do ninja. And I know the world is, it's fucking crazy. roots with his stardom, acting in films like Sam Peckinpah's Ninjas versus Spy. I swear I did not. I did not plan that with the ninjas. Mashup, The Killer Elite, which we'll get into later, and The Turn of the Century Caper. Harry and Walter Go to New York. He wasn't afraid to play against his tough guy image either. In sensitive supporting turns opposite Barbra Streisand and Jane Fonda in Funny Lady, and Comes a Horseman, respectively. Few of these films were blockbuster hits, certainly not on the level of The Godfather. I mean, what is, really? But it wasn't as if he was losing out on big roles. In fact, more often than not, he was turning them down. He said, if there's anything I can attribute to my success to, it's that I said no. I'll tell you what he didn't say no to is women. Jesus. Yeah, it's like in Godfather. Remember when, we'll get to that later. Yeah, I mean, I would hear stories that he would go to the Playboy Mansion and live there for weeks on end. And again, it's no wonder he had to have back surgery years later. I mean, that much, bada bing. Perhaps though, let's get serious. He was saying no to a bit too often when he turned down the lead roles in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Kramer versus Kramer, Superman, and Apocalypse Now for one reason or another. Holy shit, even I didn't know that. What's wrong with me? As he said to WENN, I'm assuming it's a radio station. Anybody that's listening to this that's 20 or under, first off, shame on you. You should get a life. Second, I'll explain to you what a radio is later. He didn't want to be upstaged by a child actor in the sentimental weepy like Kramer. While the thought of spending months in the jungle was enough to deter him from the reuniting with Coppola on Apocalypse Now. Shit, that's crazy. I could see that. I mean, obviously, they worked well together in various movies there. So, yeah, it is what it is. But again, James Caan, you can tell this is a guy who, again, the Playboy Mansion for weeks. Jesus, Madonna me. I'm surprised it didn't fall off. The point is, oh man. Oh, what a life. But yeah, but again, that's my point. I mean, this guy lived a hell of a life, man. I mean, okay, he turned down whatever roles. I mean, it doesn't matter. The guy's, he still kicked ass, man. I mean, for weeks, just living there and, the Playmates and, this is during the 70s, holy shit. Oh, where was I again? He played a big part in Michael Mann's debut. The Godfather would sit at the top of nearly any actor's resume, and rightly so. But James Caan had other, less heralded favorites. God only knows if I said that word right. First among those was Thief, the 1981 debut feature of writer-director Michael Mann, who would go on to revolutionize the crime drama on television and film with Miami Vice, Manhunter, and Heat, among many others. As a side note, ladies and gentlemen, I heard that they're going to make a TV show with Heat. Val Kilmer or Robert De Niro will not be a part of it. Al Pacino might be. I don't know. He said don't expect, the crazy budget, whatever. I mean, obviously it's a TV show. We always, like even today's world where, I mean, let's just be honest, for the most part, TV is definitely taking over movies, but again, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Anyways, there is no mafia. In a 2013 interview with the AV Club, Caan took credit for discovering Mann, recounting how the fledgling filmmaker waited to talk to him on the set of the Neil Simon adaptation Chapter 2. Caan went along with it, checked out with Mann, wrote, and recognized something good was brewing. He said, I was very fortunate that I was able to do whatever the hell I wanted to do, so I put it together right away, he said. And with that, Thief was underway. Great movie. We'll talk about that in a little bit. With all due respect to Sonny Corleone, Thief is arguably Caan's finest performance. Some would debate, but again, we'll get into that. Based on the supposed true account of a former safecracker, Caan plays Frank, a stoic, principled thief. I guess we'll talk about it now. Cash and diamonds only, of course, who dreams of a straight life and a family with his girlfriend, Tuesday Weld. Frank is a hard-talking tough guy, pressed into one last job by a dangerous mobster, Robert Prosky. But Mann and Caan gave him vast reserves of pain and trauma just under the surface. As a storyteller, Mann's aesthetic of crooks and cops driving rain-soaked urban streets, pulsing to the beat of a dreamy synth, courtesy of Tangerine Dream here, is already fully formed and on display. Again, we'll get more into this in a little bit, but that movie does kick ass. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie. No Mafia. A years-long hiatus. But even an artistic success like Thief can't nourish an actor forever. And at a certain point in the early 1980s, James Caan stepped away from the film business, seemingly for good. There were several contributing factors, starting with a bad experience filming the 1982 romantic comedy Kiss Me Goodbye, co-starring Sally Field and Jeff Bridges. During this time, Caan's sister Barbara died of leukemia. He told the cigar aficionado that following her death, his personal life took a turn for the worse. A car accident in 1985 sidelined him further, and soon it had been a full 5 years since he appeared in a movie. I'm very sorry to hear that. It sucks always losing a family member. Even I know that. Car accident, not going to help either. So listen, pretty much ever since he started, he was on a pretty good run there. I'd say at least a good, almost seemed like maybe 20 years, give or take, whatever. So, take some time off for yourself. It's important, it's like riding a bike. You're not going to forget. Much of that time was spent coaching Little League Baseball, an experience Caan cherished. As he said in Cigar Aficionado, love saying that word, I love kids because they're not full of shit, But I love like James Caan, he doesn't give a fuck. I love it. Again, we're God, we need more fucking balls in movies today. Anyways, but coaching Little League doesn't pay the bills. And due to some financial chicanery, maybe, on the part of his account, Caan's financial situation took a significant hit. Reluctantly, he returned to the movies in 1987, reuniting with Coppola for the first time in 13 years for the drama Gardens of Stone, and starring in the 1988 sci-fi buddy cop feature Alien Nation, which we'll get into that later. That's it's got aliens. James Caan's trouble with the law. By the mid-1990s, James Caan was back on top, thanks to a string of hits and notable films like Misery and the 1992 romantic comedy Honeymoon in Vegas. But professionally, success and personal success don't always go hand in hand. And during this time, Caan was the subject of two bizarre police investigations. In 1993, a man named Mark Schwartz, there you go, died when trying to climb up the balcony of an apartment where the actor was staying. An acquaintance of Caan, Schwartz, fell while attempting to reach the unit. Caan was asleep when this happened, and though the police initially questioned him as a person of interest, he was eventually cleared of all suspicion. That is fucking crazy. I mean, you hear these stories about people, having their houses and people jump over the the walls, whatever. I mean, I mentioned in the Keanu Reeves podcast, Keanu literally was just laying in his bed. He sees in his doorway there in his bedroom at 4 a.m. someone is just looking at him. I mean, that is fucking crazy, man. So obviously you can't blame him for that. I mean, fucking, like, was he Spider-Man? Less cut and dry, however, he was in an altercation just a few months later when Caan allegedly pulled a gun on a man during an argument. In March 1994, Caan was visiting his brother in Los Angeles when he got into a heated argument with another man, reportedly over an act of vandalism. Hip-hop artist Derek Lee, who went by the stage name Doc Rapper, intervened, at which point, according to Lee, Caan pointed a pistol at Lee. Lee called the police and Caan was arrested on a misdemeanor charge, then released later that night. Caan would have faced up to 6 months in jail, but it appears that the charges against him were eventually dropped. Listen, this is he's a crazy businessman. I don't know, like a lot of fans out there. Listen, to any sick fucking fans out there, listen, these guys go there, do a job, and that's it. They're not their characters. They're not, don't get me wrong, James Caan is a tough motherfucker. We all know that. But again, in Hollywood, I mean, all these tough guys, these action stars, I'm sure they got to put up with this shit all the time. They got to prove that they're bigger or as big as on screen as they are in real life. It's just like, shut up, man. Just leave these guys alone. Let them be. And, and it's scary when you got to carry, it gets to a point where, you got to carry around a gun just to protect yourself. You know what I mean? Just like someone in the mob would. But again, there is no mafia. But the point is, it can get a little crazy out there. So, bottle rockets liftoff. Those legal run-ins did little to slow James Caan's career momentum, as he settled into serving as an elder statesman for a new generation of actors and audiences who grew up watching him in his 1970s heyday. One member of that new generation was a young unknown Texas filmmaker named Wes Anderson, who, along with brothers Luke and Owen Wilson, was preparing his first feature, a low-budget crime comedy called Bottle Rocket. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you, I did a podcast named I Hate Owen Wilson. Listen, I don't actually hate Owen Wilson, okay? Hate is a very strong word. I just don't like the fucking shit that, if you watch him in Bottle Rocket, he is phenomenal, okay? Him and his brother, both great. It's a great movie. But, he's playing the same fucking guy ever since, after that movie. It's just, I'm just saying he's better than that. That's all. But we'll get into more of that later. In 2013, Caan told the AV Club that he did the film as a favor to its executive producer, James L. Brooks. Which, listen, if you're a fan of The Simpsons, it's enough said. He's richer than God. He said, these kids down in Texas, they're doing this film. Would you go down there and do 2-3 days for me? As Mr. Henry, a charming con man sought out by Dignan, the optimistic would-be criminal played by Owen Wilson. Caan got the rare opportunity to do an outright comedy and to show off his skills at karate. Again with the kung fu, I swear to you, I'm not planning this, which he studied for decades. I didn't know that either. Again, he could beat the shit out of you in many ways. Gun, foot, doesn't matter. His 2-3 days of work helped bring attention to the movie and its makers, launching Anderson and the Wilson brothers to stardom in just a few years. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Caan would have act as a kind of good luck charm to other young directors, appearing in Christopher McQuarrie's debut, The Way of the Gun, and James Gray's sophomore efforts, The Yards, both in 2000. There you go. I mean, how many times do you see, guys that kind of make that transition where, listen, perfect example of that is Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? Everyone thought he was this big guy, tough action star, And then he does Twins with Danny DeVito. Boom, enough said. He racked up another hit with Elf. No shit. Christmas classic. Fans of a certain age will not doubt know James Caan best for The Godfather. No fucking shit. But their children and grandchildren might have a different experience of the actor. Not as a violent mid-century mobster, but as a grumpy dad who needs to learn the true meaning of Christmas. Jon Favreau's the man. I mean, keep in mind, this is a guy who's done Swingers, Made, obviously Elf, and he helped out that one guy. What's his name? Robert Downey Jr. That's right. Yeah. He helped him become Iron Man. There you go. So Jon Favreau, you're fucking awesome, dude. Family comedy hit Elf as something for everyone. A warm-hearted holiday story wrapped in a hip retro vibe and starring a murderer's row of indie and alt comedy stars, including Zoe Deschanel. I hope I said that right. Kyle Gass, Andy Richter, a pre-Game of Thrones Peter Dinklage. I knew about him before this movie. I did. He was in that movie with Steve Buscemi there, where he was a director or something. I forgot the name of it. It was a good movie. Anyways, and Amy Sedaris. At the center of the film is Will Ferrell as Buddy the Elf, a human raised at the North Pole, and Caan as his long-lost father, Walter. One of the film's sharpest moves is to keep Walter consistently frustrated by Buddy's antics, even as everyone else is eventually worn down by the man-elf's mantic enthusiasm. Even at the end, when father and son have reconciled in time to save Christmas, there's a sense that Walter still isn't a big fan of Buddy's whole thing. Behind the scenes, Caan and his character were not too far apart. As Ferrell once noted on a 2018 episode of The Late Late Show with James Corden, at the film's premiere, Caan approached Ferrell and said, "Every day on set, I thought you were way too over the top, but now I see what you were doing. Great job." There you go. Listen, I'll do a podcast about Will Ferrell one day. I fucking love that man. It's old school. Forget it. You know, it's Blue. You're my boy, man. The point is, again, a lot of people consider him an acquired taste, you know? But still, I think he's fucking hilarious. And even when he was doing that movie with the soccer or whatever, I don't know, he was doing a shit ton of sports movies for some reason. And Robert Duvall, same thing here, you know? But yeah, you know, it's the old school meeting the new school, you know what I mean? So, you know, but in the end, you know, they got what Will Ferrell was trying to do. And, you know, again, I'll talk about it now. You know, the chemistry was great. I mean, obviously you got James Caan, you know, this tough motherfucker, you know, teaming up with, you know, Buddy the Elf here, who's just a kid in kids' clothing. And, you know, they just played so well off each other. It was perfect. You know, it was a good balance. You know, you had to have that, you know, so it was great. I mean, it really was. And I'm sure the residuals that he got for the next almost 20 years were pretty good too. On a side note, if you guys know the comedian Artie Lang, he's the guy that plays the Santa Claus, which is one of the funnier scenes in the movie for sure, in Elf. And he says he gets residuals every year. I think like something like, give or take, I think 30, 40 grand for doing nothing. So imagine what Caan, Will Ferrell, and Jon Favreau get. Okay, so again, I said it before and I'll say it again. You make a good Christmas movie that stands time, whatever, you're good. So again, yeah, Will Ferrell, yeah, you did an awesome job. A long life playboy. Oh, boy, we're going to talk about this again? Yeah. All right. Hugh Hefner, I just want to say this. Rest in peace. I don't like the way they're bad-mouthing your name the last couple of years. I'm going to say is this. We share the same birthday, April 9th. You are the man. That's it. James Caan counted a lot of Hollywood celebrities as close friends, including Don Rickles and Playboy magazine founder Hugh Hefner. When Caan was going through a difficult divorce from wife Sheila Ryan in 1976, Hefner offered him a place to stay until he got back on his feet. Okay, so I'm trying to think what, like, if you're, a man on planet Earth, what is, like being a movie star, making lots of money. On top of that, you're literally given the keys to the Playboy Mansion. How does life get any better, guys? I'm just, I don't know. It's just me, or I don't know. This is, I rarely cry. I'm sorry. No, I'm gonna hold it back. Okay. I got a prescription to live at the Playboy Mansion. Wow. Can we have that phrase framed, please? He joked to Esquire magazine in 2003. Caan really did live at Hef's house for a short time, and even after moving out, remained a frequent guest of the mansion for decades. No shit. Even popped up briefly in a 2005 episode of the reality series The Girls Next Door, which apparently is one of my dad's favorite shows. Dad, shout out, you got good taste. Attending the mansion's annual Halloween party. Those are classics. Oh man, can life get any better? Let's read on. Maybe we can. As at home as Caan felt at the Playboy Mansion, it seems to have felt just as welcome in the magazine's pages. He was a famously tricky interview subject, by turns hostile to journalists and refreshingly forthright. After his death, many admirers took to social media to post excerpts of his infamous 1976 Playboy interview, during which he spent the whole time goofing on his interviewer and the entire concept of a celebrity profile. In the interview, Caan joked that he only agreed to do one-on-one because Hefner threatened to revoke his mansion privileges. That's great. That's a great way to get an interview, yeah. And when asked what drugs he enjoys, he replied, "I take an aspirin now and then when I've got someone like you to talk to." How can you not love this guy? This guy. Come on. Who's a guy like James Caan like now? That we can really say is like a James Caan type in 2022 Hollywood. I mean, it's not even close, man. Like, what the fuck happened to movies? The saga of Barry Minkow. After his time in the proverbial desert in the 1980s, James Caan never stopped working, and in fact had several projects in the works that will now be released posthumously. That work ethic, whether due to artistic passion or financial need, resulted in a very busy 21st century for the actor. One such project included the 2018 biopic Federal Crime Con Man, based on the life of the 1980s Ponzi schemer turned evangelistical minister Barry Minkow. The film went into production in 2009 with Minkow producing and even playing himself. The film had a respectable cast, including Ving Rhames, Mark Hamill, Talia Shire, and Caan as the FBI agent who brings young Minkow's house of cards tumbling down. As writer Jonathan Myers recounted in Fortune, one day during filming, Minkow, perhaps giddy from being in the same room as Sonny Corleone, confessed to Caan that the film had been financed with stolen money. Ladies and gentlemen, if you actually ever do steal money, don't actually say that you stole money. Recording of Min Cao's confession proved integral to the separate investigation. In the 2011, he was convicted of inside trading. The completed film, titled Min Cao, at the time, premiered at the Berlin Film Festival that same year, but ended up on the shelf until nearly a decade later, when it was released quietly under the name Con Man. Even when James Caan wasn't looking for trouble, trouble seemed to find him. Listen, if being a movie star, making a shit ton of money, and being in not one but two of the greatest films of all time, and having the keys to the Playboy Mansion is trouble, name me Jesse James. That's when you know you're in trouble, when you hear those sounds. The point is, James Caan has had an awesome career. Helped out a lot of young directors. Even I didn't know that. It's just fun. Again, who's even close to this guy right now? Who? You know, you could say Tom Hardy maybe, but Tom Hardy, I don't know. He's got more of a Brando-esque kind of thing, you know. But still, like, James, who? And you can't get away with this shit today, you know, fucking whipping out guns and, getting away with it. And, you can't. I mean, in some cases you can, I guess, but I don't know. I don't condone that. The point is, he's done a shit ton of movies, great movies. It's just awesome. It's just, how could, how could James Caan die? I mean, I don't know. It's like that scene in Donnie Brasco, Michael Manson, like, how could John Wayne die? And it's ironic I'm saying that because, they're both in a great movie together, which we'll get into in a bit. But if you guys don't mind, I'd like to go on IMDb and talk about every single movie that he's done. I haven't seen them all, of course. I do have somewhat of a life, sort of. But yeah, again, Rotten Tomatoes, Buzzo, I don't care. So let's begin. So the very first thing that James Caan ever did, we mentioned before, he did tons of TV series, was a TV series called Naked City. And he played a character named Marty Fiki T. He was in one episode called Bullets Cost Too Much. So right off the bat, guys, he's already gangster. That's it. It came out in 1961. Let's see. I've never heard of this, but it's got a pretty good rating. 8.3 out of 10. That's not bad. The cases of the NYPD's 65th precinct. Interesting. Okay. I've never heard of this series. I don't know, but it was on for, it looks like 5 years. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so there you go. It's a good start. Then there's another TV series, a bunch of them over the years. It says Play of the Week. Another series called Route 66. Alcola Premiere. He was in one episode of The Untouchables. There you go. Another. We're seeing a theme here, guys, with the whole mafia. That again, it just doesn't exist. Let it go. The Doctors and the Nurses. Wide Country. Dr. Kildare. I think he was in a movie here. Finally, Irma La Dos. He played a soldier with a radio. Okay, look, they didn't have the iPod yet. Just you gotta do what you gotta do. Then again, TV, a bunch of series here. Ben Casey, Death Valley Days, Combat, Craft Suspense Theater, Breaking Point, Changing. Then he was in another movie. Now, I saw this movie probably the last couple of years. It's a movie called Lady in a Cage. And he plays a character named Randall Simpson O'Connelly. This movie's a trip. I'm not going to lie. So basically, long story short, it says it here. A woman trapped in a home elevator is terrorized by a group of vicious hoodlums. Okay, now it sounds weird, and it is. Don't get me wrong. The woman who plays the woman trapped in the elevator is Olivia Del Havilland. I hope I said that right. She was great in this. Yeah, this is a crazy movie. Like, I didn't know James Caan was going to even be in this movie. I just heard about this movie. It came out in 1964. Like I said, I'm just, during the whole COVID thing, whatever. And I don't know, like, are we past it or not? I don't know. Who knows? One day. I don't know. Apparently, SARS is still out there. I don't know. So, go figure. But anyways, yeah. I figured, let me check out this movie. And, yeah. So, the whole point is she gets trapped in her own elevator in her house. She can't get out. And then at the same time, these robbers break in there. And, it's almost perfect for these people. I mean, they find out, like, the woman of the house is literally trapped in the elevator. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, she's going nuts in there. And and then James Caan pops up. The guy looks fucking. He looks like he's like 20. I mean, yeah. So he was great in this. I like I said, I did not expect him to be in this movie, and I was like, whoa, shit, this is crazy. So there's Sonny. So yeah, this is a really good movie. 6.7 out of 10. I'd give it higher for sure. I mean, at least a 7 or maybe more. It's a pretty good movie. So if you got the chance, check it out. The Alfred Hitchcock Hour. Why not work with Alfred Hitchcock? I mean, this movie, the one I just mentioned, Lady in a Cage, it's almost like Alfred Hitchcock-esque. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised there. Another TV series, Wagon Train. And then he did another movie. It looks like he's starting to do some movies now. Kind of, graduated from TV there. Again, like I said, I mean, today's world, TV is definitely surpassed movies. Just ask anybody. Ask Netflix. A movie called The Glory Guys. Then he did another movie called Red Line 7000. And then he did a movie that I think a lot of people know, because if you're a John Wayne fan, yeah, this is definitely one of his better movies for sure. A little movie called El Dorado. I love just saying that. It's just a cool El Dorado. And he plays a character named Mississippi. And basically, James Caan, this is his kind of... I mean, obviously he did movies before, but this is definitely, one that got him more recognized. I mean, when you're John Wayne's right-hand man, you're definitely going to get noticed. He was great in this. Those two really played really well off each other. Great Western, And again, I know in today's world, people dig up old shit and they see what John Wayne said and whatever. Listen, it's a different time, guys, There's even a part in this movie, James Caan, he's got to fool some guys, and he does a whole, well, you'll see. But, again, this is 1966, okay? So let's just keep that in mind, all right? It was a different time, but this is an awesome movie, great Western, definitely one of his better ones for sure. So you got a chance, check it out. And then got him on a roll here. He did the movie Countdown, Games, Submarine X1, Journey to Silho, and we're back to TV for a little bit. One episode of The FBI, a couple episodes of Get Smart, mentioned that before. And then, like I said before, he teams up for the first time with Mr. Coppola. You are a god. I love you. My family loves you. I don't know, for some reason, every time I visit my parents, it's playing in the background, either Godfather. It's just a tradition at this point. But it's. I gotta be honest. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. Maybe I saw it a while ago. I don't remember, but I'm not sure. But it says here, when a household wife finds out she is pregnant, she runs out of town looking for freedom to reevaluate her life decisions. Well, who hasn't? 6.9 rating. Please. So I don't know. Looks pretty good. Like I said, Shirley Knight, Robert Duvall, Coppola wrote and directed it. I don't know. All right. I got something to watch this weekend. Cool. There we go. Then he did a movie, Rabbit Run. Then he did T.R. Baskin. And then that same year, in 1971, he did a movie called Brian's Song. And he played a person named Brian Piccolo. Now, I mentioned this before. This movie's got a rating of 7.9 out of 10. Pretty good rating. Keep in mind, guys, back in the day, they would have, like TV movies, like the odd time, but they would be big event things. I mean, like, remember the movie Roots? I mean, it was movies like that, like this, Brian's Song, were really big deals at the time. Like they got major stars to perform in TV movies. Nowadays, everyone's just getting a good paycheck on Netflix, HBO, Showtime, whatever. But this was a huge movie at the time. I think it got well over 10 million, or probably even more. Like a lot of views on I was about to say online on TV. Not yet. But yeah, it says here, based on the real-life relationship between teammates Brian Piccolo and Gail Sayers, and the bond established when Piccolo discovers that he is dying. So, based on true story. Him and Billy D. Williams really played well off each other. You got Jack Warden in there. He's great in everything he does. Bernie Casey, Shelley Fabres, David Huddleston, Judy Pace. Good little movie, guys. This is good. Like, even if you're not a football fan, like it's just a great movie. Like you really, I again, this got him more recognition. Obviously. Really good performance. Nominated for a lot of stuff. So definitely, when you got the chance, check this one out. This is definitely one of his better ones. Absolutely. And of course, he worked with Coppola before, and and Coppola, was really hoping to work with him again, and would it happen again? I don't know. Come on, of course I know. Please. So, 1972. What do we got? We got him playing Sonny Corleone in The Godfather. Ladies and gentlemen, I could do a 10-hour podcast on just the Godfather series alone. I'd probably spend at least 9 hours and 59 minutes talking about the first two, and then maybe a minute on the last one. But the point is, long story short, this is one of the best movies of all time. I don't have to keep repeating myself. Me personally, though, I do like Godfather 2 more than I like Godfather 1. And a lot of people do feel the same way. I just feel overall it is the better movie. But that is not to say that The Godfather is one of the best movies, if not at least top 5. It's in my top 5 movies of all time. It is excellent. Originally, they were kind of pushing to have him play Michael Corleone. And listen, he's too tough. He's too tough. Too tough. I could see why they wanted him to play Michael. I get that, but him as Sonny, just like him coming. I mean, right in the beginning of the movie, how is this character basically introduced? I mean, he's talking to his wife there. He's smashing cameras. He's got such a strong presence. You can tell he's the guy in the family. Hothead, just wants to go out there, protect his family, do what he's got to do. And that's it. And even that one great scene, where they're about to take the picture at the wedding there, and Brando's like, oh, where's Michael? We're not taking the picture without Michael, And you can tell even Sonny, even knows then, it's like he's not the favored child. And that's what makes him even, a little bit more, raged and, he's got to prove himself more, a little bit more of a hothead. Just, he plays that role so perfect. You couldn't have picked a better guy, And on top of that, his wife said he's got a big dick like Pete Davidson. I mean, Jesus, it's like that's it, And judging by the time he spent at the Playboy Mansion, it's probably true. And it's where am I going with this? The point is, this is one of the best movies of all time, and everybody loved James Caan in this movie. People like Robert Duvall, Marlon Brando. You see all these interviews, and they always say he was like the funniest guy ever. He always created such a great atmosphere, on set, and spoiler alert, okay, if you haven't seen the movie yet, which I can't imagine you haven't, it's either that or you're any woman I've ever dated. I mean, every time I mention The Godfather, I've never seen The Godfather. Fuck, I don't know, okay, what are you going to do? Anyways, anyway, the point is, it's a spoiler alert, so I don't know, forward a minute if you want, whatever, I don't care. It doesn't end well. You know what I mean? It's he ends up looking like Swiss cheese, but obviously a difficult scene to tape, obviously, and look how they massacred my boy. It just you almost hate to see that, because you're like, fuck, like, and like, again, nobody expected The Godfather to be this big success, of a movie. I mean, all these, if you watch The Offer, and all the things you've heard in the past, like, it's so much agita just to fucking make this movie. And, at one point they wanted to cut the movie from almost 3 hours to 2. Like, fuck. I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Take out the Sonny Corleone's part? I mean, like, how are you gonna chop it like a fucking third of the movie? Come on. I mean, but again, him being Sonny Corleone worked out absolutely perfect. And the one thing that people still kind of discuss to this day is, and they kind of touched on The Offer. I don't want to give anything away here, but the whole fight scene, with him and his sister's, husband there, the Malaka, Carlo. In real life, apparently they had a beef kind of together, and they wonder like how much of the fight was actually real. But then you can clearly see in one scene where he punches, and it looks like from 3 feet away, whatever. But did he actually bite him on the fingers? I like to think James Caan would actually do that. I don't, I'd beat the shit out of him, and I don't know. To me, it'd be an honor if James Caan beat the shit out of me. I don't care. That's awesome, Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. That was great. But yeah, again, you couldn't have picked a better guy to play this role. It was just perfect. And again, because of this role, he will forever be Italian in my heart. Okay, just plain and simple. So, long story short, guys, if you've never seen The Godfather, you're an idiot. But if you got time, if you got 3 hours to kill, pretend you're not a Leaf fan, a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, and don't actually waste 3 hours watching a game, because we all know what happens in the spring. Instead, just watch The Godfather. Okay, you'll be so happy. It's just an awesome movie, and James Caan was just fucking great in this. And after this, forget it. The rest is history. I mean, he became an A-lister. Pretty much everybody did from this movie, and it was just a huge hit. They didn't win the Oscar. And then Brando, won it, and the Indian went on stage there, and there's a whole thing, and it's. I'm pretty sure Brando had keys to the Playboy Mansion too. I mean, I'm pretty sure they all just, made copies. But the point is, The Godfather, one of the best movies of all time. And James Caan, you did a phenomenal job in this movie. It's excellent. And God bless everybody there, and Francis Ford Coppola, for just making a phenomenal movie. So whenever you got the chance, I urge anybody out there, please see this movie. Thank you. But again, there is no mafia. I don't know where they got this idea from. I'm just saying it, but just go see it. Then, I don't know, he went back to TV for some reason. Ronan and Martin's Laugh-In. I guess performer. Okay. Then he did a movie called Slither. Then he did Cinderella Liberty. Okay. I didn't have a chance to see those movies, so that's why I'm kind of skipping through. So I'm just, I've heard Cinderella Liberty is pretty good, so I'm just saying. I don't know. Leave your comments in the section below. Let me know, guys. I can't do everything for you. I mean, Jesus. The Gambler. Okay, so was it a few years ago that they made a remake of this movie with Mark Wahlberg? I heard it was horrible. I heard the only scenes worth watching were the ones with John Goodman. mean, John Goodman's awesome. Yeah, we all know that. But this movie, he plays a character named Alex Freed. And if you really want to know what it's like being a gambler, or like a real, just degenerate gambler that really doesn't give, you watch this movie and you realize it's got, again, I don't want to give away the ending or whatever, but it's got nothing to do with making money. It really, if you're a true degenerate gambler, it's more than just the excitement of winning and just chasing it and a whole thing there. And it was really well demonstrated in this movie. But let me read here. It says, Alex Freed is a literature professor. So you can tell he's not exactly living the most exciting life anyway. He has the gambling vice. When he has lost all of his money, he borrows from his girlfriend, then his mother, and finally some bad guys that chase him. Despite all of this, he cannot stop gambling. Now again, James Caan did a phenomenal job in this movie. There's one scene, I'll just say this. There's one scene where he places a bet. Okay, he's living with his girlfriend or whatever, girlfriend staying over, whatever. One of the many at the Playboy Mansion, and she's in bed, and he's like, I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna sit in the tub for a while, blah 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 blah. The real reason why he wants to sit in the tub, he wants to be by himself. He listens to the radio, and he just wants to listen to a game he bet, and he's listening to the game, and obviously he loses, and he's just sitting in the tub, and he's just by himself, obviously, and you could see his facial expression, I've had that facial expression when you lose a bet, and you're just sitting there and you're like, motherfucker, and you could tell he just wants to let loose, but he's got his girlfriend in the next room. He's in the tub. He just doesn't want to overreact, but you can see it on his face, just how much gambling just fucks him up. And like I said, the ending is crazy. I don't want to give anything away. If you've never seen this movie, see this movie. Okay, even if you're not into gambling or whatever, he gives a great performance. Do not see the remake. Just see this one, okay? It's a great performance, and it really gives you an idea of how bad a gambler can get. So definitely check this one out. Freebie and the Bean. I saw this movie recently. Decent little movie. I liked it. It's him and Alan Arkin. It says here, San Francisco police detectives Freebie and Bean are determined to bust local crime boss Red Myers at any cost, even if this means destroying the whole city in the process. Now, there's one scene in this movie, I remember they're on top of a building or something, and again, there's no fucking way it's a green screen. It almost gave me agita just watching it, whatever. I got a thing with heights. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Over the course of time, it's gotten worse. I don't know. I'll talk about it one day. The point is, it's a good little, buddy cop movie. Nothing too crazy, whatever. But, you can tell James Caan is having a lot of fun. Alan Arkin, always a cool dude. Found out years later when I went to Second City, he went to Second City. So, yeah, that's awesome. And, a good little buddy movie. Nothing too crazy, but if you get the chance, check it out. It's a fun little movie. And of course, the success of Godfather. The Godfather. Jeez, what was I? Come on. They got to make another one. They have to. The Godfather, Part 2. And of course, he returns as Sonny Corleone. Now, you're probably wondering, if you've seen the first one, how does he come back? And of course, at the end, they have a flashback scene. And that's how he comes back. That's what you do, guys. You obviously you have all these great characters, that didn't make it to the end of the first one there, hello, Carlo. But, I love saying that. Anyways, so great little scene at the end there. Awesome scene. Apparently, Marlon Brando, they did write him in that scene, but they kind of just had him. Well, he wasn't there, obviously, but they had his character in the background, whatever. He was supposed to, I don't know, it just never happened, whatever. I don't know. So, a bunch of stories out there why he didn't do it. Who knows what's real? But the point is, nice little scene at the end there. Yeah, and this is my favorite movie of all time. And again, I could talk about this movie forever, guys. But this last scene is definitely one of my favorites in the movie. I love how they wrapped it up. They show how Michael kind of, it's pretty much implied that yeah, one day he will be, the number one guy. Yeah, for sure. You just see it then. You just knew what was going to happen, and so it's really smart the way they did it. Of course, Sonny's there, they're breaking his balls. Of course, that's what he does. And, eventually he gets pissed off that he's not going to go to school. He's going to go in the army instead. And, you really do get the idea, though, that, I mean, all three brothers, I mean, they were always, competing for the number one spot. Not even just like, just in, the mafia, which there is none. But just in the family sense, and I'm an only child, so I'll never know that world. I'm always forever number one, of course. Thanks, mom and dad. But but seriously, you're always fighting for that number one spot. It was clear that Michael was always number one. Like I said before about the waiting to take the picture. But I think it even fueled Sonny even more back then. You see how pissed off he got. He's like, he's calling him stupid and whatever, and Fredo was just accepting it, like, oh yeah, Sonny waves his hand, don't come, yeah, you would congratulate me, shut up, but it was great. And also in the recent series, The Offer, they actually have a scene where, again, I don't give a lot away, but we're kind of seeing how the characters would play off each other, and it kind of reminded me of this scene, but again, I don't want to give anything away. See the series, it's great. If you're a Godfather fan, you'll love it. But yeah, again, James Caan was great in this, even though it wasn't that big of a part, obviously. But I mean, he says you're uncredited. He's credited. Trust me. in the Italian community alone, trust me, he's credited. But again, this is my favorite movie of all time, The Godfather Part 2. And again, if you love The Godfather, the first one, you will absolutely, positively love the second one. I mean, they got Robert De Niro in there now. It just, come on, like what more do you want, guys? What more do you want in life? Come on, it's beautiful. So again, if you have 6.5 hours to kill, watch Godfather and Godfather Part 2. I guarantee you will absolutely not regret it. And then he did a movie called Gone with the West. And then again, he's kind of did a musical thing here with Funny Lady with Barbara Streisand. I've personally never seen a woman dance on a tall cigarette before. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. I'm not really into musicals. I don't know. Again, I still understand with the Golden Globes, musical and or comedy. I don't know why they combine those two together. I don't know. But what are you going to do? 1975, Rollerball. Played a character named Jonathan E. Now, this is a really cool movie. This is almost like what the future is going to look like, whatever, in 20, 30 years from then, or what they thought. I mean, I don't know, like, were they that far off? I don't know, but this is a good little movie. So this is him kind of being, I guess, kind of the action star, I guess. Once again, they did remake this movie years later. With LL Cool J. LL, I love you, man, but, come on. It says here, in a corporate-controlled future, an ultra-violent sport known as rollerball represents the world, and one of its powerful athletes is out to defy those who want him out of the game. And again, this is kind of like what they do with, like, today, with the sport, whatever. But yeah, it's way more hardcore. Yeah, the last scene of this movie is pretty crazy. This is when, that's definitely where it comes all together. But again, tough motherfucker like James Caan kills it. So I would definitely check this one out for sure. Didn't get the best rating, but I don't know. I would still check it out for sure. The Killer Elite. Again, another movie that was remade. Yeah, all these movies. Nobody come up with original ideas anymore. Fuck, man. Like, you're not going to top the original. You got James Caan in there. Come on. Stop it. Whatever you... Fuck off. So, yeah, this movie is okay. I will say this. Like I said before, I mentioned this before. The last scene at the end involves ninjas. Okay? Now, when you're watching this movie, at first you're like, oh my God, this is like, there's no way this movie's gonna have ninjas. And then all of a sudden, yeah, all these fucking ninjas pop out. It's weird. I don't know. It's like watching the Peaches video for the United States of America, the rock band. Remember that video? Whatever. But millions of peaches, peaches poppy. Sorry. So yeah. For that scene alone, it's worth checking out this movie. But again, a decent little movie. Nothing, too spectacular or whatever. But him and Robert Duvall, they look like they're having a great time. I mean, they had a great time in Godfather. Let the, 1 and 2, let the good times roll. Fuck it. So there you go. Silent movie. He plays himself. This is a Mel Brooks movie. Mel Brooks, I love you. You are awesome. Blazing Saddles. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. In this stupid PC world we're living in, that is one of the funniest movies of all time. Definitely in my top 10. Yeah, I said it, and I will live by it. And it says here, a film director and his strange friend struggled to produce the first major silent feature film in 40 years. I think it was a success. Now, they got a lot of people to do quick cameos in this one, and James Caan was one of them. Good little movie. I wouldn't say it's his worst movie. I wouldn't say it's his best movie. But if you're a Mel Brooks fan, you'll like it. Like I said, Blazing Saddles. It doesn't get any better. It's come on. But again, good little movie. I would still check it out. Harry and Walter go to New York. I didn't see that one. I'm not gonna lie. A Bridge Too Far. He plays a character named Sergeant Dohon. I think I saw this movie. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Sean Connery. Yeah, I did see this one. Yeah, I haven't seen this one in a while. Yeah, Michael Caine's in this one too. Yeah. I haven't seen this one in a while. I do remember it being good though. Operation Market Garden, September 1994. The Allies attempt to capture several strategically important bridges in the Netherlands in the hope of breaking the German lines. There you go. Yeah, good little cast of people. Not bad. A little long, but then again, if you're used to a 3-hour movie like The Godfather, it shouldn't be that much of a stretch to you. So there you go. Another Man, Another Chance. I didn't see this one, unfortunately. The Godfather Saga TV mini-series, 1977. What? They didn't make it. What? I don't remember. Wait. What? 4 episode. Wait, what the fuck is this? The Godfather 1972 and The Godfather Part 2 1974 were re-edited together in chronological. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So, God, listen. I'll just say this, okay? I like to keep it separate, okay? I like watching Godfather, the movie, and then Godfather Part 2, the movie, just by itself. Now, what they did was they combined these two movies together. Obviously, what they did in Part 2, a lot of it should have been done in Part 1, telling the story, how it all began. Then they took a lot of the deleted scenes and they, combined, bada bing, bada boom, that's it. So, if you got the patience for, God only knows how long this is. Oh, it says right here, 7 hours and 14 minutes. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Again, if you have 7 hours and 14 minutes to kill, go for it. Rating a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, yeah, basically, if you combine both movies together, yeah, it's pretty much the perfect movie. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I love The Godfather. I maybe one day I will actually sit down and just see what they did, but I don't know. I mean, I don't want to fuck with perfection. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, but again, it'd be interesting to see like them adding all the deleted scenes and stuff because there is a lot of stuff that they left on the cutting room floor. That will happen when you make a 3 or 3.5 hour movie. Certain things that they left out of the book, of course, that didn't make the final cut. But it's up to you. I mean, it's just funny they broke it into 4 parts. I mean, obviously, but it's it's up to you guys. Again, me personally, I would just watch the first movie and then the second movie. But hey, you know what? If you want to do it, go for it. It's up to you. Then he did a movie called Comes a Horseman. And then he was in the movie 1941, which I don't remember him in this movie. Yeah, this is a Steven Spielberg movie. It didn't. Yeah, it didn't. It is what it is. But Sailor in Fight, uncredited. Wow. Okay. Huh. Oh, there we go. And he was in Chapter 2. I mentioned this before. I did not see this one. Yeah, so I'm not. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Hide in Plain Sight. Didn't see that one either. But what I did see I didn't see it in 1981 because I had one more year to go before I popped out of my mom. Is a movie called Thief, and he plays Frank. Now, yeah, as I mentioned before, a lot of people would consider this one of his better roles. I would definitely agree. Very cool movie. Very 80s-esque too. Early 80s. All that. An ace safecracker wants to do one last big heist for the mob before going straight. There you go. Now, I'm not going to say they remade this movie, but I remember years later they made a movie called The Score with Robert De Niro, Ed Norton, Marlon Brando. I'm not saying it's got anything to do with that, but it's kind of similar to the story, like a little bit, but this one, I don't know which one's better. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. I'm even making that comparison, but it's kind of it's like that one last job, and then I'm out. Then of course all the shit goes wrong. Classic '80s. But you also get to see Willie Nelson in jail, which I thought was kind of funny. But I don't know. I hope somebody got him some weed. But the point is, this is a really good movie. Yeah, he's got to go through a lot of shit. Again, I don't want to give a lot away. 2 reasons. 1, you got to see it for yourself. And 2, I haven't seen this movie in a while, so I can't tell you a lot. But I can definitely tell you this is absolutely worth watching. One of his better performances. I do agree with that. And when you get a chance, check it out. Then he did a movie called Bolero. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. It says, through fabulous music, this movie tracks 3 generations of musicians and dancers from Russia. Huh. Okay. I don't know. Never seen it. Kiss Me Goodbye. I mentioned this before. He I don't know. This kind of got him off the rails of acting here. I don't know. I mean, I didn't get the best rating either. I know I never saw this one either. I did see recently Jeff Bridges in Arlington Road, which, I mean, the movie's good. It has a really fucked up ending. But, Sally Field, she's cool. I don't know. I never saw this one. Then he went back to TV, did a series called Les Uns et les Autres. My French is horrible, so I'm going to assume it's either French or Spanish. I'm not sure. Something tells me that I'm wrong either way. But anyways, then he did a movie, Gardens of Stone. Because he took the hiatus, whatever, he came back. And he did an interesting movie, or I thought it was interesting, called Alien Nation, where he plays a character named Matthew Skykes. I was going to describe the movie, but let me just see what they got here. In 1988, Earth makes the first contact with alien civilization. In 1991, these aliens, known as newcomers, slowly begin to integrate into human society after 3 years of quarantine. Quarantine, there's a word none of us want to hear again. But yeah, this is, again, this did not get the best rating, but this is an interesting movie. So basically, yeah, James Caan, he plays like a cop, and he's teamed up with, it's a buddy cop comedy, but it is with, he's teamed up with an alien. So, it sounds like it's a bit of a comedy, and yeah, it's got its, comedic things here and there, but it's kind of I like this movie. I think it's pretty cool. If anything, I'm kind of surprised they never remade this movie, and I'm sure they will since I said that. But I like this movie, and the other guy, it's a good little cast of people. Mandy, Patinkin, Terrence Stamp, yeah, some good people in this movie. I didn't mind this movie. I thought it was pretty good. I think James Caan, I don't think he was the biggest fan of this movie. I don't think. But again, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So again, I guarantee you they'll probably you're gonna remake this movie sometime in the future. I would not be surprised. So yeah, I would check it out. I'm not a big sci-fi guy either, but I liked it. With James Caan, I was like, hey, let me check this out. All right, so I liked it. I thought it was good. There you go. There's no mafia. Now, speaking of which, Dick Tracy, he played Spaldoni. Yeah, Dick Tracy was one of these movies where, again, it didn't get the best rate. It's one of those, it looks really good, but the story itself, Obviously, we know it from the comic books and all that, whatever. Those are, who are old enough to remember comic books. But yeah, it's a decent movie. It's okay, The thing that sucks about this movie is that apparently Al Pacino, he turned down Goodfellas. He was going to play the Robert De Niro role, as Jimmy Conway, and to do this movie. And the reason why he said he didn't want to do Goodfellas is because he didn't want to play or be in mobster movies anymore. But this is sort of a mobster movie, I guess. Nobody understood that. So yeah, now obviously he regrets turning down the role, but hey, what are you gonna do? Okay, worst case, years later, you do The Irishman. Again, if you have 3.5 hours to kill, basically, to see 3-4 movies I've recommended, you need a whole day to yourself. It's a lot of popcorn, but yeah, it is a decent movie. I actually forgot James Caan was in this. Yeah, it's funny is I'm scrolling down here. I don't even see him in the main people here. I totally forgot James Caan was even in this. Yeah. The worst thing is about this movie, the main thing I remember growing up, I remember McDonald's had these scratch cards, and you had to scratch certain ones to get a free meal and whatever. And again, everything just always relates back to me with food. But yeah, it's that's what I remember. Dick Tracy was everywhere at one point, and then all of a sudden, just that's it. But yeah, I don't know. If you want to check it out, it's okay. It looks good, the movie. I'll say that for sure. Story-wise, it could use more, but, it is what it is. Misery. Oof. Whew. Came out in 1990, and he played a character named Paul Sheldon. Okay, so I always think this movie came out way before 1990. I don't know why. It just feels older, but obviously this is a Stephen King novel. Stephen King's adaptations from his books have made a lot of movies over the years. It says here, after a famous author is rescued from a car crash by a fan of his novels, he comes to realize that the care he is receiving is only the beginning of a nightmare of captivity and abuse. Oof. Oof. Rob Reiner directed this one, by the way. Cool motherfucker. For those of you who don't know who Rob Reiner is, he played Meathead in All in the Family, if you're the older generation. And if you're the newer generation, he played Leonardo DiCaprio's father in The Wolf of Wall Street. There you go. The guy freaking out on the phone, just trying to watch Steve Buscemi on TV there, The Equalizer. Until I saw that movie, I didn't even know he was in that show. Maybe he was in one episode. I love Stevie. He's awesome. But anyways, this is a great movie. This is definitely one of Stephen King's novels to movies, his better ones for sure. It's up there with Shawshank, Green Mile. It's up there for sure. James Caan gives a great performance. Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes. Will Keys? Is that how you say it? Wilkes? I think it's Wilkes. There's no second I. I'm going to say Wilkes. Okay. Thank you. Just the way they played off each other was great. I mean, it just, and it's funny too because with James Caan, like you think like a situation like this, he's pretty chill. I mean, there's parts where he gets angry and whatever, but usually you're used to seeing like James Caan like walk around, beat people up and just really make his presence known. This one, he's basically lying in the bed for most of the movie, and Kathy Bates is doing all the heavy lifting here. So it's but these two were just phenomenal in this role. And I found out recently that apparently, spoiler alert, there's a scene in the movie where he's getting better, whatever, after the car crash. And Kathy Bates breaks his foot again, just so he can stay there and, not get away. Apparently in the book, because, clearly after listening to this podcast, you can tell I don't read. The character actually chopped the guy's foot off, but they felt that it was just too much for the movie adaptation. So they were just like, okay, let's just, break his foot and then that's it. So I never knew that. So that's how hardcore this story gets. But, yeah, absolutely check out this one. It's got a current rating of 7.8 out of 10. I'm pretty sure we can bump that up to, an even 8. I'm just saying, so there you go. But yeah, definitely one of James Caan's more memorable movies. This is a great one. Yeah, absolutely check that one out. Then he did a movie called The Dark Backward. Another movie called For the Boys. Then he did A Honeymoon in Vegas, which, it's a comedy. He's there. It's nothing crazy. It's if you want to see a date movie with Nicolas Cage and Sarah Jessica Parker, it's okay. People. The main scene I remember in this movie, for some reason, is when all the Elvises are flying out of the plane. I don't know. For some reason, I don't know. My mom's an Elvis fanatic, so it's just, maybe that's it. But the point is, it's a decent little comedy. The Program. Yes, the football movie. That's right. Decent little movie. But crazy in the sense where there's tons of people in this one. I mean, you got James Caan, obviously. You got Halle Berry, Omar Epps, Craig Sheffer, Abraham Ben Ruby, Christy Swanson, Joey Lauren Adams. A lot of new faces that I remember just over the years. You're like, okay, they start off here and then they thing. And I don't know, this movie, I got a feeling they basically just got James Caan. He's a tough guy, and it's kind of a, I don't know what I like to call a lob roll. Like in the sense where you go in there, what you got to do, nothing too spectacular, and there you go, that's it. A decent movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying. Flesh and Bone. I have no idea what this one is. I don't know. No. A Boy Called Hate. Nope. North Star. Bottle Rocket. Okay. So I talked about this one before. I haven't seen this movie in a while. I'll be honest with you, I forgot James Caan was even in it. Because again, like you're so focused on Owen Wilson's character and how great he is. And I don't know why he hasn't done a great role since then. But, I don't know. He wants to do movies with Jennifer Lopez. Okay, whatever. And I think it's J-Lo. I'm just, I don't know. What are you going to do? Eraser. Arnold Schwarzenegger, love this man. Did a podcast about him. Obviously, best action star of all time. Yes, it's true. It is. It's the ultimate rags of riches story. Worked his ass off to get to where he is today. James Caan plays the bad guy in this. Again, nothing too crazy. I mean, not Schwarzenegger's best movie, not his worst. It's all right. He's just been erased. Bulletproof. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, Sandler at this time, he's doing some, movies, the whole Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, whatever. And then, he did this one, which I'll be honest, I always forget he did this movie. And, James Caan's in this, plays the bad guy, and it is not, I don't know. It's not much. I'm not going to lie. It's, it's, again, another lob. He showed up in an episode of News Radio. Great show, very underrated show. Great cast of people in that one. This Is My Father. I didn't see that one. Then he went back to TV movies. Poodle Springs. Then he did Mickey Blue Eyes. Okay, so if you look up all the movies that came out in 1999, it is in pretty insane year of movies. Now, could you throw this movie in the mix? I guess, and again, this is James Caan doing the whole, kind of, playing up the Italian, mafia mobster, which again does not exist. It's just for the movies. It's just the one guy here, Hugh Grant there. I don't know. He got into some shit in the '90s there. I don't know. You look it up. I'm tired. And then, he's trying to marry this woman here, and he's going to press the father. Of course, James Caan's the father. Hey, forget about it. Hey, forget about it. Hey, forget about it. Forget about it. It was okay. But if you ever get the chance, see Celine Dion trying to act out that scene. That's even funnier. Celine, you're cool. But the point is, it's a good little comedy, but this is really popular when it came out. I'm really curious to see how much money this movie actually made, because this is a pretty big hit for a comedy. Yeah. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, wow. I thought it did way better. Oh, maybe it did better on video. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. The budget for this movie was $75 million. How the fuck is that possible? Are you? If they're paying Hugh Grant that much money back then, fuck off. 1999, $75 million. That's got to be bullshit. There's no a comedy that was fuck off. No. That's not right. And this is opening weekend only made 10 million. Gross U.S. Canada 33, worldwide gross 54 million. So it bombed. I thought this movie was a big hit. I don't know. Everyone was like quoting it. Maybe it's one of those things that just went to video and maybe then it became a big hit. I don't know. But no, I remember this movie being. Yeah, with the 75, fuck, that's fucking crazy. Good Lord. Ugh. Anyways, the point is, a decent little comedy, it's, whatever. Hey, forget about it. Okay, whatever. Fuck. Live up to the stereotype more, eh? Okay, all right, whatever. I guess it's funny because he's British, I don't know. The Yards, sounds familiar. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, yeah, right. Yeah, Charlize Theron. Joaquin Phoenix, yeah. This movie was okay. It was all right. It wasn't anything. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I expected this movie to be better. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a decent movie, but you want to check it out, go ahead. It's 6.4 to 10. It's kind of on the border, like I always say, 6.5. It could be a good movie, it could be not. Whatever. But it's a decent little movie. It's all right. Lucky Town. I didn't see that one. Way of the Gun. Okay, so it's the year 2000. At this point, James Caan has been acting forever, and he's just doing these roles, whatever, helping out these people, like I said before. This movie, first of all, 6.6 out of 10, bullshit. This movie is fucking awesome, okay? This has got a hell of a cast in there, too. You got Ryan Felipe. First of all, that opening scene is... It's... I mean, it definitely would not fly in the whole #MeToo movement, but it's 2000, a different time, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't condone that. But at the same time, it's just watch it. Benicio del Toro, always been one of my favorites. Juliette Lewis, Taye Diggs, and Nicky Katt. Very underrated actor, by the way. He was great in Boston Public. He's the guy in, remember Dazed and Confused? I don't know. He's like, yeah, I was smoking weed. So what? You want to make something? And then, like, he just went, I hate angry stoners like that fucking smoke weed and they get all angry and shit. I'll never understand you fucking people. But the point is, I'm sure Nicky's not like that in real life, but that was the dude in there. He did it great. Good actor. Jeffrey Lewis, Dylan Cussman, Scott Wilson, Kristen Lehman. Good little movie. This is a good, and then the scene with Sarah Silverman. She's awesome. I love her. She's fucking hilarious. This is a good movie. I don't know why they only gave it 6.6 out of 10. That's bullshit. This is a good fucking movie. True criminal drifters without sympathy get more than they bargained for after kidnapping and holding for ransom a surrogate mother carrying a baby for a powerful, shady man. This is a good movie. Whoever gave this rating, go fuck yourself. I'm telling you. Look, it's not the best movie of all time, but it's definitely higher than 6.6. Everybody's great in this movie. James Caan's great in this one. This is a good one. Okay, so I recommend that one. Yeah, they fucked up, but absolutely check out that one. TV movie, Warden of Red Rock. I doubt this has anything to do with Scarborough, but it's a little Toronto reference for you. Another TV movie, A Glimpse of Hell. Viva Las Nowhere. Ooh, it's a good title. Not the best rating. Daniel Stern. Oh, fuck. Where did that guy go? I mean, I don't know. He did the whole Home Alone thing, and he was great in Born in East... what was that movie called with Cheech Marin? I was born in East LA. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, check that one out. I never saw this one. In the Shadows, Night at the Golden Eagle. This Thing of Ours. It's it sounds like another mafia movie, and judging by the poster, absolutely. You got Phil Leotardo and Big Pussy on there. Yeah, it's got to be, but it ain't no Sopranos. 5 out of 10. Another TV movie, Lethe of Heaven, City of Ghosts. I should remind people at this point that, I mean, James Caan at this point, like, and even he admits, like, for a while he was just doing movies because he got married a few times, and he's just got to pay off some bills and whatever, and like he even admits he's like, I don't want to do these fucking movies, and like he didn't give a shit, like he was just doing it for the paycheck. So I get it, it's cool, whatever. Just keep that in mind, because a lot of these movies I've never even heard of. So. A couple TV movies here. Blood Crime, entitled Eric, Gilliland Project. Dogville, which sounds familiar. Yeah, I think I've seen this one with Nicole Kidman. Yeah, he was in this, really? I haven't seen this one in a while. Yeah, 8 out of 10. All right, that's not bad. All right. It sounds familiar. I don't know. The Incredible Mrs. Ritchie, TV movie did. Jericho Mansions. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I didn't hear half the shit, but 2003, very good year. Okay, or at least for the Christmas world. We were introduced to an awesome movie that I think is in everybody's repertoire. I'm just looking for an excuse to use that word in our Christmas list every year. That movies that we have to watch, next to Home Alone, of course. And Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And don't watch the other ones because, I've done podcasts about those. And I watch them because you don't have to. A little movie called Elf. And he plays a character named Walter. Now, let me tell you the power of this movie, okay? My mom doesn't like anything, okay? I'm just Mom, I love you. If you ever hear this one day, I'm sure you won't. But she, my dad loves everything, movie-wise. I mean, he even likes Green Lantern, so, it tells you where his head is at. My mom doesn't like anything, okay? She, we went to the movies one day to see, what's it called, Avatar. a half hour in, she fell asleep, and then meanwhile, like a half hour later, my dad is looking at Jellyfish 3D. He's the only one in the theater putting his hands up and trying to reach for the fish. I lean over, I'm like, Dad, what the fuck are you doing? And he just starts laughing. I don't know. I love my dad. I'm just saying. I love my mom too. I'm just saying. My point is, like, she loves this movie, and she's not a fan. Even like I said before about Will Ferrell. For a lot of people, he's an acquired taste. I love Will Ferrell. I grew up with him on Saturday Night Live. Old school Step Brothers, Anchorman. Those three movies alone, he's a legend. I always say he's probably one of the funniest, if not the funniest guy in like the 2000s. He did such a great job with this movie. And originally, just on a side note, in 1993, they wanted to start making this movie, so it was 10 years prior, and they wanted to make it with Jim Carrey. That never ended up happening, and years later, Favreau picked it up, and the rest is history. And to put James Caan in there as his father, it's perfect. It's a good balance. You can't have every person likable in this movie, so you got to have that grouchy type, whatever, tough dude. James Caan was perfect in it, and I saw him in an interview. He said, like, I never saw myself like in a movie where I get to team up with Santa Claus. So, he had a good sense of humor about it. And like I said, later on, of course, Will Ferrell probably drove him a little nuts, whatever. But in the end, he said later on, it was well worth it. He did a great job. And this is a Christmas classic. I mean, and I think they wanted to do another one. I think they offered Will Ferrell some weird number, like $29 million or something, to do a second one. Will, thank you for turning it down. I mean, not a lot of people have the balls to do that. How would you even attempt to make another one? It's it's going to suck. I mean, you're just going to repeat the same jokes and shit. It's just, it's not going to be funny. It's not. Just forget it. So this is a Christmas classic. So James Caan definitely, made the right choice in being in this one for sure, because you never know with Christmas movies, they could be Elf, they could be Fred Claus, and again, it pains me to say that because I do like Vince Vaughn, but and Paul Giamatti and Ludacris, but it just, it is what it is. But Elf is a Christmas classic. This is a great movie. If you've never seen it, obviously see it. I mean, I would see it more, Christmas time. You can see it in November if you want, but just, wait till December. Don't be one of these people that fucking puts up your lights in, November 1st. Just take your time with Christmas, it'll come. The snow will be there, You can have an epic snowball fight, You can get your dad some lingerie or something, like Will did, and just enjoy the holidays. That's all. So, Elf, classic movie, awesome. Definitely check this one out. Then went back to TV there. Crossing Jordan showed an episode of The Simpsons. That's cool. The first 10 seasons of The Simpsons are classic. Everything after that, whatever. Santa's Sleigh, another Christmas movie. There you go. And then what do you do if you're Sonny Corleone and you can't come back? You're clearly not going to make a part 4 of Godfather because that third one was just horrific piece of shit. Worst case, you do the video game. Okay, you put your voice in there, so you make The Godfather Mob Wars, The Godfather, The Don's Edition, The Godfather Black Hand Edition. There you go. Bada bing. That's it. Get some nice little shekels there. Beautiful. Lend out your voice. Why not? Then he was in a TV show called Las Vegas. Now, this was only on for 4 seasons. It's a pretty good show. I'm not going to lie. I did like it. I didn't watch it regularly. I watched a few episodes here and there. But the whole point was, he was in charge of a casino and, just keeping an eye on it, whatever, So, good little show. I liked it. Wise Gal, TV movie he did. Get Smart. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this movie. I got to be honest. I forgot he was even in it. New York, I Love You. Middle Men, Mercy. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. You get the whole Italian thing, meatballs. Okay, I'll let it go. Family Guy, he played himself. Henry's Crime, the TV series, The Annoying Orange, which is ironic because it was just the first Godfather had a shit ton of oranges there. I mean, go figure. Did they have juicers back then or no? But then they say that it takes away the nutrients and I don't know. Detachment, Hawaii Five-0. TV series. Obviously, it's a remake of the original. Yeah, he showed up in one episode of that. And I should mention that yeah, he's got some kids. And one of his kids is Scott Caan. And if you look at Scott Caan, he looks very much like his father. I mean, I don't mean that about. I'm just saying he looks very. You could tell it's his kid. You know what I mean? So he's like, and he was always very proud of his kid being following in his footsteps and becoming an actor and all that. And probably the main role you probably know Scott Caan in is all these Ocean 11 movies, the recent ones with George Clooney and the boys there. Yeah, ironically, he teams up with another star's family there with Ben Affleck's brother, Casey Affleck. So there you go. Yeah, so that's cool. They were able to act in something together, and there you go. And yeah, the show was on for like 10 years, the new one. Wow. Okay. Cool. Dun, 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 dun. Ugh, 2-hour podcast. I'm starting to lose it. Anyways, Small Apartments. That's my boy. Okay, so listen, a lot of people hate this movie with Adam Sandler. I fucking loved it, and James Caan was great in this. Like he, like at one point, like he plays a priest, and like he's fighting the guy, and like he rips off his clothes, and Adam Sandler's like, "Oh man, he's pretty buff for an older guy," and he's like, "Okay, he's going to a whole new dimension or something." I thought this was a funny movie. I mean, that ending is that is some really fucked up shit. As in the words of Adam Sandler, I don't think Charlie Sheen would understand what's going on here. But I liked it. I thought it was funny. And James Caan, he was good in it. So there you go. For the Love of Money. I don't know. Nope. Nope. Blood Ties. Oh, that's where it is. Got it. Okay. So, again, 6.4 out of 10. I got to disagree with you guys. This is a good movie. Okay, so I did a podcast about Mr. Clive Owen, okay, where he's been over the years, but he did a great job playing Bill Clinton there. Oh, boy. Monica, we can't do this. Oh, boy. Thank you. So, yeah, this is a pretty good movie. Two brothers on either side of the law face off over organized crime in Brooklyn during the 1970s. It's got a low rating, but I'll tell you what, it's got a hell of a cast. Okay, like I said, Clive Owen, Marion Cotillard, I hope I said that right. Billy Crudup, Mila Kunis, Zoe Saldana, Matthias Schroen. Ertz, oh God, I suck at this. Dominic Labarzodi, I love that dude. John Tim Miglia. Oh, I'm telling you, the Italian side is killing me here. The point is, Lily Taylor, always liked her. Point is, Griffin Dunn, good dude too. Again, the point is, good little movie. I would recommend it. I'm surprised it has this low of a rating. I got to be honest with you. I mean, is the best crime, drama, whatever? It's not. But it's pretty good. Okay, so I definitely recommend it. James Caan isn't in it for that much, but it's a good movie. So I would definitely check it out. Then he was in a TV series called Magic City. I heard about this show. I never watched it. It only lasted like one season or something. Apparently Rick Ross was in, I don't know, an episode or two or something. Huh? Boss. Yes. Please don't kick my ass. The point is, I didn't know he was in that, but All right. Check it out. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Why not? More voiceover work, easy money. The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. I did not see that one. The Outsider. I saw The Outsiders, but not. This has nothing to do with that movie. And another TV series, Back in the Game. A Fighting Man. Pregoland. The Throwaways. The Wrong Boyfriend. Sicilian Vampire. What? Sicilian Vampire. Really? Wow. I was expecting a way worse rating. 6.5 out of 10. That's actually... I got to read this. Hold on. Equal parts Goodfellas, 1990, and From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996. Reputed mobster Sonny Trafficanti was hoping to get away to the family hunting lodge for a little rest and relaxation and create some memories. Instead, what he got was a night he will never forget. This can't be real. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. But am I gonna watch it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, a vampire Dawn. Okay, listen, anything's possible. Like I said, at one point, he was just doing the paychecks. It is what it is. Divorces can be very expensive. Dragged out for years. I'm just saying. So you do what you got to do. Is that blood or tomato sauce? The Good Neighbor. State Farm is there. Good Enough. JL Ranch. The Red Maple Leaf. Can't be worse than the Blue Maple Leafs. Holy Lands. Undercover Grandpa. Con Man. Is that the one I was talking about before? I think it released till later on. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Ooh, 4.6 out of 10. Okay, yeah. Because I was kind of wondering why I never heard of this. Well, there's the reason. Out of Blue, JL Family Ranch 2. The Pack Podcast is a podcast series. Queen Bees. Little Kim in that one? No? Okay, so this is the last movie that's been released that he did. It's 2021. Then he's got 3 that he's done. We're going to see what date. 2023. He got a movie called Fast Charlie. It's in post-production. He plays a character named Stan. When his aging mob boss is whacked, Charlie Swift, a loyal friend and hired gun, will stop at nothing to bring down the new crew coming up that took him out. Based on the Edgar Award-nominated crime novel, Gun Monkeys. Okay. It can't be worse than Sicilian Vampire. I mean, okay. Redemption just got announced. He's playing a character named Mark Benton. 2 boys meet in an orphanage and become best friends for the rest of their lives. Okay. All right. And the last movie that he worked on was a movie called Acre Beyond the Rye, where he plays Sheriff Doyle. And there's nothing here. They have appears to be a guy walking in a field, and it must be a pretty dangerous field if he's got 2 guns on him. But yeah, there's no character plot. Okay. Armand Asante, love that dude. That guy's awesome. Okay, so if those 2 guys are in it, I got to check it out for sure. But of course, he ends on, a pretty tough role as a sheriff. Why not? So I could see that. So, But as you can see, guys, yeah, he's had a hell of a career. What is this? 137 credits as an actor. So that's pretty awesome. You know, actor, TV, movies. He's got the keys to the Playboy Mansion. Again, I can't stress how fucking cool that is. But the point is, you know, it's like I said before. I mean, there's not a lot of guys out there like James anymore. You know, Hollywood over the years has lost its toughness, and you know, over the years we keep losing all these guys, and you know, it sucks. I don't know. I thought James Caan would be one of these guys that would live to be 100. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's just the Italian in me. You know, because. Whatever, but I don't know. I just thought he'd live longer. But I mean, he had a hell of a career, guys. And, you know, cool dude, very funny, you know, always made people laugh too. And, you know, that's the thing too. I mean, like, he always had this tough exterior, but, you know, he was always able to make people laugh. Like, he rolled with the punches. He admitted when, you know, like, people would drive him nuts. He was a straight shooter. And again, like, we need more people like that in Hollywood. And, you know, let's be honest. I mean, after fucking all that Harvey Weinstein shit and, you know, Will Smith being a dickhead, you know, and people not even reading envelopes properly on live TV there. I mean, I don't know where the fuck Hollywood and the Oscars have gone, but I mean, we definitely could use more men like this man. And of course, you know, in this day and age, when people die, they go on Twitter and, you know, send their condolences, whatever, and da-da-da-da. Everyone from The Godfather and people that he's worked with, whatever. But one tweet I want to read out, and this is, first of all, you know, I just want to say how cool Rob Reiner is. Okay, I mentioned him before, but, you know, he's awesome. So he said, "So sorry to hear the news. I loved working with him, and the only Jew I knew who could calf rope with the best of them. Love to the family." Mr. Reiner, you are a cool dude. And again, yeah, you know, but this is what James Caan did. He just always, like, you know, this tough guy always, you know, was able to make people laugh. I mean, that's awesome. You know, create a good atmosphere on set, and that's it. I mean, that's all you can hope for. So, you know, like, what do we got? We got a great actor. You know, we got a guy with an awesome sense of humor and one of the toughest motherfuckers to ever hit the screen. A lot of people will always remember him for Sonny Corleone. But in the end, he was just being himself. Rest in peace, James Caan.
It's also pointless, Gail. I mean, I know perfectly well what's wrong with me.